There once was a world ruled by industrialization, imperialism, and competition. Then the Great War happened. And a lot of people were like, hey, stop that? After World War I happened, the US was like, hey, these wars are really starting to suck, and that sucked bad, and a lot of innocent people were killed. Let's make a union of countries so we can all start protecting each other. The creation of the League of Nations had been talked about in 1915 by small groups, but it took the push of bigger groups to get the ball rolling. The US had helped the Allies win World War I and pushed the making of the League of Nations. They then didn't join the League of Nations. Yes, the US was a major factor, as well as Britain, but they never joined due to the Republican side of the US pushing for isolation, which was a problem for the majority rule that was needed to join. Some of the members included the United Kingdom, USSR, Ireland, Spain, and 63 others. After the League of Nations was made, it was the first of its kind to have an almost worldwide scale of peace, which was similar in the way to Enlightenment ideas. They then vowed to prevent another devastating war such as, well, the League of Nations had ironically halted during the start of World War II in 1939, and its main use was to be a stepping stone for the UN. The League of Nations had faded out by the end of World War II and was replaced by the UN, which was pretty much just the equivalent to upgrading your fridge to one of those Samsung ones with the neat screen on the door. The UN, also known as the United Nations, was established on October 24, 1945, and is still active today. The UN had the goal of arms control and aiding countries. Some things the UN did better than the League of Nations was the push for human rights, and due to decolonization, many new independent states joined. Today, 193 countries are in the UN, although nowadays they're able to branch out to handle more defense and environmental situations. The main focus still lays in economy. Along with the development of the UN, the European Union started its development. They also, like many people, happen to strongly dislike frequent war and bloodshed. In addition, they also sought to promote economic wellness. The EU created a standardized currency known as the euro. Legend says that it was formed by Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands, but we all know that Belgium is a myth. The EU has gained tons of members since its formation, and has, of course, been met with some controversy, such as the whole Brexit issue. One would surmise that Brexit is all about the exit of Britain from the EU, but it's actually a special breakfast biscuit. The EU took stances on protecting the environment, security, and defense. The Warsaw Pact is basically NATO existing and the USSR going, hey, I want one of those. And so, the Warsaw Pact was created, or rather, copied. This was mainly because Russia really wanted stronger control of its satellites in order to strengthen their international diplomacy. It unified military command and gave the Soviet Union traction. Starting in 1955 and ending in 1991, you'd think there'd be a significant impact with this. However, political changes in most of the states made the pact virtually ineffectual. Great job, Russia. Gold star. There once was a period when Europe was quite rude to Africa. You know, the whole imperialism thing, with seizing basically all of the continent. In the 1950s, many new independent African countries were created, and the leaders of Africa sought after African unity. Later, in 1963, the Organization of African Unity existed. It was pretty much the League of Nations, but it didn't have anything to do with either of the world wars. It was based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, encompassing 53 states with the exception of Morocco. The OAU was dissolved in 2002 when it was replaced by the African Union. All of these organizations, except the Warsaw Pact, shows that humanity might not be the most terrible thing on Earth. After all, a sense of unification certainly isn't a disheartening thing.